Rick Santorum, former senator from Pennsylvania, correct? We hear that you're exploring running for president. That would be an awful big undertaking. What is the first thing that really came to you and your family? The first thought that came to you and your family when you said, yes, let's try this?
I'm not too sure it's anything. It was that type of aha kind of moment. Let's try this. I think it was a situation where in 2009, I felt motivated to get out and involved in politics again because of what I saw going on in Washington, D.C. And I just wanted to add my voice more than anything else. Really not for any intention other than I saw something dangerous happening, and I wanted to try to motivate and rally some conservatives across the country to get involved in the political process and make a big change in 2010 to stop this huge power grab of President Obama and the Democrats in the House and Senate. And as I did that, I kept getting encouragement from people to get back into the fray, and then I ended up taking a little trip to Iowa, and that sort of changed things even more as people started talking about, well, are you thinking about running for president? And I said, no, I just was invited to go and speak in Iowa. And I've been to 20-some other states, so you didn't ask me whether I was running for president of any of those states. And said, well, if you go to Iowa, you must be running for president. Well, what happened was I got a lot of attention from the national media when I went to speak in Iowa, and I thought, well, maybe I should go speak in Iowa some more, because when you do that, your voice is amplified. And so I kept, going to some of these early primary states with the clear intent of having my voice amplified when I do. But as I went there again, I got a lot of encouragement from people to come back and to consider looking at the presidency. So it never was a
sort of a long road to the idea.
Yeah, it never was. It sort of crept up on me, and what I've said from the beginning, I'll continue to say, is really my interest in making sure that we have a strong, committed, passionate, and principled conservative who is up against Barack Obama, that can motivate not just the base of the Republican Party, but motivate America to stand up and do the right thing with respect to the future of our country. And that's where I still am today, and whether that's me as a candidate or me as someone who's just trying to be a voice, I'll make that decision in the next few months, and we'll see what we do from there. And right now, I'm testing the waters.
Right. Well, a lot of people are saying, oh, obviously this next election is all going to be about economics, but perhaps not with this Egypt situation going, and perhaps more embroiling of the Middle East. Where do you stand on what's going on in Egypt? Do you find this to be a stab at democratic protests and a democratic reform, or do you think that it hides something else?
Look, I'm someone who embraced President Bush's concept of moving these authoritarian regimes to more openness and more democratic institutions. I think there was a focus a lot by the critics of the Bush policy that it was all about just getting elections. Elections is just one indicator of freedom and both economic and personal freedom. So I never focused much on elections. I focused on developing civil institutions and creating a rule of law and that is not subject to the whim of a dictator. Those are the kinds of things that we need and we should be pushing regimes around the world, to adopt. When Barack Obama came into office, he said, I reject that approach, and we went around and gave him speeches about how harmful America has been to the world, and that how we're going to take a hands-off role and let international institutions handle these situations. Well, I think when he did that, he sent a signal. He sent a signal to the rest of the world that there's a vacuum. And the first folks that took advantage of that vacuum were the Iranians a year and a half ago with the Green Revolution. And the president took a hands-off approach and said, in fact, did less than a hands-off approach. What he said was, I'm going to support the regime. It was a legitimate election, and didn't do anything to support the Green Revolution, and it died. Well, now here a year and a half later, and by the way, that was a regime that was, and it is an existential threat to the state of Israel, and is a hostile regime that's in the process of developing a nuclear weapon for purposes of doing harm to us and to our allies. Here, a year and a half later, Egypt has a similar type of revolution, marches in the streets, and the President of the United States, instead of siding with the regime, this time a regime that is friendly to us, sides with the protesters. And so sends a message that if you are a regime that is hostile to us, well, we'll support you. And if you're a regime that's friendly to us, we're going to turn on you. The inconsistency and the manner of which it was, you can argue an inconsistency if you were for the Green Revolution and against what was going on in Egypt. I'm not suggesting that that would be the right thing to do. But you can't argue for the inconsistency of what this administration did in these last two situations. And it sends a very dangerous message to our friends and to those who would like to harm America.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.